Hey, Matt.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Obviously, the Hardys have built such a legacy for themselves over the years, and you've built your own legacy individually as well. But what do you think, Matt, that Jeff's legacy will be when you get your Hall of Fame, your many Hall of Fame inductions many years from now across the world for all you've done for wrestling?
I think Jeff will probably, his legacy, he will go down as one of the most death-defying, fearless, adrenaline junkie performers that has ever existed. someone who was iconic because of the crazy stunts he did in tables matches, ladder matches, TLC matches, and a true pioneer, because I feel like Jeff also touches so many people across many different cultures too. Hispanic people, Black people. He is very, very beloved, and I think part of that is because we seem like attainable people. We seem like normal people who, like fans of us, they would be friends with us if they knew us. That's just kind of how we seem. We come from a small country town in North Carolina. Yeah. And I think that stands out. I think people look at Jeff and they're inspired. The fact that he's been able to have the career he did. So I think all those things are kind of his legacy.
One of the things that I'm aware with you particularly, Matt, is you're very aware of the Hardy brand. You have it everywhere, very conscious of it. And I wonder, does that, put you under any pressure? Because I see on Twitter all the time the comparisons you make between bumps you were taking 20 years ago and bumps you're taking now. Do you ever feel any pressure for that Hardy legacy, for the legacy you've kept, to keep doing those bumps and keep performing for the fans at a high level, which you've obviously been doing for a number of decades now?
We don't feel pressure to necessarily take bumps, but I feel like just our performance in general and whatever kind of stories we're trying to tell, I feel like we want to make those as good as possible. Just as time is going on, I feel like both myself and Jeff have learned to work smarter as opposed to working harder, and we know what we can do that we'll be okay with and be able to bounce back the next day, and we know the things that we shouldn't do, so that's while we're trying to work very smart.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it shows in again just the longevity of your careers, and that's something I also wanted to ask about. On social media, you put across, obviously you do a lot of work on your fitness and your body, and you're really trying to push yourself to improve all the time, even as you get older, and I think that's motivated a lot of people around the world. Again, how much value do you put on personal progression, personal fitness and well-being, and do you see the impact that has on people of all shapes, sizes, abilities, even disabilities, for example, that you're still pushing yourself to better yourself health-wise and also mentally as well?
I hope so. I hope it is something that people look at as like an example, like, hey, if this guy can, do all the crazy stuff he's done for 33 years and still be okay and still be competitive and still push himself, and hopefully it motivates them too. And that's one thing I preach really hard just to people in general too. Like, I feel like as we get older, when you're young, you don't realize how gifted and how blessed you are just to be healthy and be able to do whatever. Just as you get older and your body ages, it's very important that you start to get some sort of exercise, that you kind of strengthen your muscles so you keep tissue as you get older and you're still strong and you can still take care of yourself. It's I'm a big advocate, and my brother is too, for taking care of our bodies, and we're big on that now, especially cold plunges / ice baths. That's our thing, and it really has helped give us extra longevity in our bodies.
Obviously, you are at the top of TNA at the moment. You're heading into Genesis, and I wanted to ask you, how important is it, as somebody that's worked in different promotions, is still platformed in different promotions as well, still referenced a lot, to be in the ring with a tag team like the Rascalz and to be working with these younger teams? I know you're competing, but also there's a level of mentorship with a team like that, who take a lot from you. Inspiration-wise, some of the moves, etc. So what does it mean at this stage in your career to be inspiring and also competing against, I will not forget that, competing against such a hungry team who also take a lot from the Hardys?
Yeah, and they do. We heavily influenced those guys. Their favorite tag team was the Hardy Boys, and they wanted to wrestle us one day, and now their dream is coming true, which is cool. It's a real neat thing. They're both good guys. They very much remind us and the year 2000, 2001 or so. You know, they're fast, they're quick, they're talented, they can do all kinds of real cool things. But we're gonna lean on our experience for this match, because we've been those guys too, and we know what it's like to face a little bit of a bigger, more experienced opponent. So we're gonna make sure to cut them off whenever they start trying to get super fancy.
Fantastic. And one of the things I've noticed about you, Matt, is you also are willing to learn from other people as well. Is there anything that the Rascalz have surprised you with? Anything in the past? You know, you've worked with them before. You know, is there anything that you've learnt from the Rascalz that you take on to the Hardy, back to the Hardy compound, and what you can learn from them, as it were?
And not do so many combos. Do combos back to back. No, they're great guys. I love their demeanor. Great professional wrestlers and good human beings on top of that too. So they're fun to watch. They're very entertaining to watch, and it's gonna be a hell of a contest when we step in the ring with them. We're really excited for it.
Is there any music, Matt, that you love, and anything that gets you in the mood? Obviously, that's going to change over 20 years plus. Is there anything that you're really into at the moment that you would recommend UK fans of music across the board to listen to, whether they're trying to get pumped for a, you know, whatever it might be, a day at work or a match in the ring, something like that?
Right. My first favorite music altogether was rap. So the Public Enemy is probably my favorite rap band of all time. A couple songs they have, like Shut 'Em Down, Bring the Noise, that gets me going. There's the version of Puffed Up Kicks, done by Three Teeth. That is,
that's so good.
Yeah, it's so good. That'll make you want to run through a wall. So
yeah,
there's a lot of things. You know, we kind of got into Pearl Jam's one of my favorite bands. Kings of Leon, I'm a big fan of those guys as well. So I listen to a little bit of everything, I think.
Fantastic, Matt. Thank you so much for the time as well. Thank you so much for making the time, mate. Really appreciate it.